Hello. Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chan.
Yeah, okay. Right. Now we have completed creating master files in customer, supplier, items, banking, GL accounts. And now last session we have completed fixed asset and budgets and analysis code. Now today we will start from import data. Now, in this system, you can create your master files by clicking. Now, for an example, if you want to create a customer, you can go to customer module and click add a customer. And you can enter customer details. Likewise, you can create suppliers by go to suppliers, add a supplier, and you can enter supplier details. Now, when you are creating customer, supplier, inventory items, GL account like that, if you have several customers or suppliers, it will take long time to create your master files. Therefore, you can use this import data to import your master files. Okay. From here, you can at once you can import your master files. You can go to company, import data, and from here select what to import. From this drop down menu you can select which master file you are going to import. From here you can import customers, customer categories, suppliers, supplier categories, items, item categories, assets, asset categories, asset locations, accounts, time tracking task, and time tracking projects. After that, you select what to import. Then you can select that date format. And from here, you can select the import file format. After that, by clicking next, you can import your master file data. Okay. Now, you can download that templates from uh, by clicking this import data guideline and template. There's a specific format for all master files. Uh, by clicking this import data guide and templates, you can download that format. After download that format, you can fill your data to that uh, CSV file and you can import. Or else there's another method. Now in practical situation, you can create one customer by selecting this add customer, and you can go to this import data and you can export your data. Can you all see the Excel screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Now currently in this system there are several customers. So in practical situation, you can create one customer and you can export that data, and you can fill your details to this Excel sheet. Right. This is actually in a CSV format. Now here you can enter your customer name, customer category if you have, and open imbalance date, postal address, delivery address, then user defined fields, then customer credit limit, customer contact number, contact names, telephone numbers, fax, mobile numbers, email address, web address, tax. These details you can fill in the Excel and you can upload to the system. Now, for an example, if you are currently using any manual system, or if you are using Excel, or if you are using any other system for accounting purposes, you can copy and paste those details to this CSV file. After that, you can import this CSV file. Okay, all these fields in when you are creating customer, there are several fields. All these fields available in this CSV file. We will do one example. Now I'll create a 02 customer, a 03, and I'll save this. Okay, now you have downloaded that or you have export data. Now you can import your data. I'll save and close this. Right, now you can import your data. Go to company, import data, select customers, select date format and CSV file. I select the file. Then there's another option, my CSV import file contains column headings. If column headings included, you can tick this option and click next. Then this system will display what are the fields available in that CSV file, and by clicking next you can import that CSV file. Okay. If you correctly import that CSV file, you can view how many rows you have imported, and if there's any error and it didn't import to the system, you can view from here. Okay, after you import, you can click finish. Right, now you can see these two customers also added to system. Right, like that. If you have several customers, you can use this import option to import your master files to system. Now there are few important things you need to follow before you import your master files. Now I'll import that file again. I have done a few changes to that last customer. Okay, now 3 rows were imported successfully. You can see now 1 rows failed to import, 1 row failed to import. And if there's any error or you couldn't import to the system, you can view the reason from this view import log file. By clicking this view import log file, you can check why that rows not imported. Okay, now you can see importing of row number 5 failed due to the following criteria not being met. Customer may not contain double spaces. We will open that file again. Right here, I copied that Excel. Right now, this is importing of row number 5. This is row number 5, and says criteria not being met. Customer name may not contain double spaces. Now here I have add a few spaces. Therefore, system will not updated that line. Okay. When you are importing your CSV file, please check whether there are any double spaces. Okay. You can check that whether it's double spaces available by clicking Control F button, and you can type their double spaces and click find next. Then you can identify where are double spaces available. Okay, then you can correct, because system will think if you are giving any double spaces, it's a mistake. Therefore, you can change that spaces, number of spaces, and you can import to the system. Therefore, before you import your data, please check whether there's any double spaces. If double spaces available, you can change it to single spaces. And another important thing, if you are importing any data, except date field, other all fields should be in general format. Okay, now here date, you can see it's date format, except date columns, other all columns should be in general format. Okay, even values, names, everything should be in general format. You can check from here, those details should be in general format. And another thing is, now you can import customers and customer categories. Now, if you are importing your customers and if you are maintaining your customer categories, please import customer categories first. Before import customers, please import customer categories, because when you are importing your customers with customer category, if you haven't created customer categories in the system, you cannot import that all customers. Okay, now assume you have a customer code from UOP, then first you need to create that your customer categories. After that only you need to import your customers. Okay, same way, if you have suppliers and supplier categories, before import your suppliers, please import supplier categories, because when you are importing suppliers, there's supplier category, and if you are copy that supplier categories to suppliers uh, import file, if that category is not available in the system, you cannot import that suppliers. Okay, therefore before you import a particular master file and it has categories, please import those categories first. Now same way, when you are importing items, please import item categories first. And for assets, when you are importing, before import to assets, please create asset categories and asset locations. Okay, three things you need to remember when you are importing your data. No double spaces, except date format, other all columns should be in general format. And before import your master file, please import those master files categories. For an example, if you are importing customers, before import customers, please import customer categories. Right, like that, you can import your data. Right, now you can practice how to import data to the system. You can create any customer, supplier, item, bank accounts, sorry, customer, supplier, item, and you can export. Go to company, export data, select your master file and export. Then you can enter few details or any customer details in that CSV files, and you can import those master files to the system. Okay, first you can create customer, supplier from this menu, and after that you can go to company, select export data, select that master file you are going to import, export data, and open that CSV file. Fill other details, or you can copy paste your customer, supplier, items, and you can import to the system. Okay, now you can practice how to import data to the system. You can practice how to import customers, customer categories, suppliers, supply categories, item categories, assets, accounts, and time tracking tasks. Okay, you can use this import data option to import your master files, especially if you have several numbers of master files. And also when you are importing, if is there any error, you can check it from uh, view from that log. Okay. This log you can view why that row didn't import to the file. It will display row number and the error. Okay, right. Now next we will move to open imbalances. Okay, in practical situation, we will implement the system for new company, or we will implement a system for all company. And if you are implementing a system for an all company, there may be opening balances such as customer opening balance, supplier opening balance, inventory opening balance, and GL opening balances. Now, if we have opening balances, we need to enter to that system before we start transactions. First, we need to set opening balance date. Now you can see here opening balances date 1st August 2018. And if you are implementing a new system, or if you are implementing a system for an oil company, you can set that opening balance as a date by clicking this change date. Right, from here you can set the date and you can save. And sometimes your company, maybe it will display today's date if you haven't changed the opening balance date. So if you are implementing for all company, first you need to decide which date the opening balance date. Now for an example, you are implementing system for all company, and which from which date you need to decide you are going to start transactions from the new system. Now when you are deciding that date, it's better if you can start from new financial year or new calendar month. Okay, you can set your opening balance date as from new financial year or new month. Then if you are using a previous system, or if you are doing parallelly, you can check uh, or you can compare those reports accurately. Okay, it's better. And other important thing is, now if you are starting from a middle of a month or middle of a year, then you need to now for an example, year-end reports, you need to generate from two systems. Okay, if you are doing manually, and those manually you are maintaining to some extent, and you are using some transaction in the system. Now for an example, uh, currently you are doing your accounts in Excel, and you are planning to start from uh, 15th July from the new system. If you are using 15th of July, if you want to generate that July month reports, you need to use both system, that Excel from 1st of July to 15th July, you need to take from Excel, and 16th to 31st July, you need to generate from the system. Then you need to combine both reports, and you need to generate that monthly report. Therefore, when you are implementing the system, that opening balance date should take start from a month or starting from a financial year. Right. Next, when you are importing files or importing your opening balance or you decide to start from assume 1st of April, then when you are importing your opening balances, please set this opening balance date as 31st March, one day prior to your opening balance date. Now, for an example, if you are planning to start from 1st of August, please enter 31st July opening balances. Okay, I'll repeat it again. uh, when you are deciding or when you are enter opening balances to the new system, please take one day prior to uh, opening balance date. Okay, now for an example, if you are entering 1st of April opening balances, then you are enter transaction in the 1st of April also. Then if some or now for an audit or some many reports, when you generate that report, you cannot properly identify that what are from opening balances, what are from that new transaction. Therefore, when you are enter opening balances, please enter one day prior to your opening balance as a date. Okay, if you are enter opening if you are starting from 1st of April, please enter 31st March uh, balances. Right. Next, when you are entering your customers, you can enter opening balances. Those uh, opening balances will update here. You can check from your opening balances by clicking this add customer. From here, you can view your customer balances, opening balance. Same way, you can add opening items and opening balances of suppliers. You can enter customer opening balances when you are creating customers. From here, you can enter customer opening balance and you can set opening balance as a date. Like that, you can enter inventory, customers and suppliers. After that, you can enter your GL opening balances. Okay, from here, you can enter your GL opening balances. And some accounts not available here, by clicking this add an account, you can create your GL accounts. After you correctly enter your opening balances, this difference should be 0. Okay, both sides should be tally, debit and credit side should be tally. If you correctly enter your opening balances, this difference should be 0. Right. After you enter your opening balances, you can click this update button. Then your opening balances will update. Okay. Uh, Now, for an example, you may use, you are implementing system for new old company, and you may have previous year audit report, and based on your audit report, you can enter opening balance for your GL items, customers and suppliers. Okay, you can take your previous year audit report and you can enter system opening balances. After you enter all details, you can update. Right now, you can enter few details or few values for your GL accounts and check this difference should be 0. Okay. Now you can practice how to enter opening balance. Go to company, opening balances, and you can enter opening balance and update. Okay, right. Now we have completed initial steps of how to implement a system. First sessions, we have completed how to set up our company settings, how to enter our company details, then financial years, how to create financial years, how to set currencies, tax settings, then document and statement, how to number documents, document messages, how to design layouts, branding, how to import our company logo to system, then user defined field settings, email signature, and if you are using multi-currency, how to add multi-currency. Next, we have completed how to create master files, customer master files, customer, sales rep, customer categories, suppliers, uh, suppliers and supplier categories, items, bank accounts, GL accounts. Then we have completed that assets, budgets, and analysis codes. Now today we have completed import file and opening balances. Now before you implement your system, you need to complete these steps. First, set up your company settings and create master files. And if you have any opening balances, you can enter opening balances. Right. Next, we will move to transactions. Okay. First, we will go to supplier module, then we will discuss what are the supplier transactions. Now we have completed settings and we have completed master files. Next, we will check transaction. Finally, we will check reports. Okay, customer, supplier, financial reports, trial balance, balance sheet. We can discuss after completing our transactions. Right. First, we will move to supplier module. Uh, from here, you can create suppliers by clicking at suppliers. Next, you can create supplier categories. And from supplier transactions, we can enter supplier purchase orders, supplier invoices, supplier purchase orders for order goods for our company, then invoices after you receive the goods from your supplier, you can enter supplier invoice. Then if you are returning your goods back to your suppliers, you can enter supplier return. When you are doing payments to your suppliers, you can enter supplier payments. And if you want to allocate that payment to supplier invoices, you can use supplier or allocate payments. And if you want to adjust any supplier balances, you can use supplier adjustment. And also you can use enter these output and input tax adjustments. Right. First, we will move to supplier purchase orders. Right. You can use purchase orders to order goods for your company. This may be for your company usage, or if you want to order your selling items, you can use purchase order. You can create a purchase order by clicking this add purchase order. After that, this screen will display. You can select your supplier from here. From home, you are going to order goods. After you select the supplier, you can view the supplier balance, supplier tax number, supplier credit limit, and addresses. Then purchase order details. From this document number, you can set from company settings. Go to company, change company settings. Documents and statements, document numbers. From here, you can enter your new document number. Once you, when you are setting up your company setup, you can enter this number. Then system will take that number from here, and when you are enter transaction, system will increase that serial number. Right. Then that document number will automatically enter by system. Then from here you can select any layout. Now for an example, for different suppliers you are using different layouts, you can select from here. After that, you can, that system will display the date, purchase order date, and if you want any particular date to deliver, you can set that delivery date. Then supplier will deliver this date. And if the supplier giving regular discounts, you can enter that discount rate here. When you are setting up your supplier, when you are creating your suppliers, you can set that discount percentage. Here you can see that default discount, default tax type, then layouts, report layouts, those details will display here. Credit limit, here you can see 500,000 credit limit, and default discount 25%, default tax rate 8%. Those details will display when you are selecting the supplier. After that, from these lines, you can select your items. Okay, if you have set prices, or you can enter prices here. Then system will calculate tax, discount, and total. Okay, like that you can enter what are the items you are going to purchase. Okay, you can select the item and you can enter the quantity, enter the amount, and system will calculate the totals including discount and tax. Right. Then if you want to email this purchase order to your supplier, you can click email, or if you want to print, you can print your purchase order. Then you can see this use inclusive amount. If you take this option, system will display with tax amounts. With tax amount here, exclusive amount is 324,000 and tax is 25,900. Total or inclusive price including tax amount will display here. If you want to view exclusive price without tax amount, you can untick this option. Okay, then system will display exclusive price. And when you are setting up your company settings, I think you can remember, you can set that here under customer and supplier setting. Use inclusive processing on customer supplier document by default. If you take this option, inclusive price will display. If you untick this option, system will display without tax amount, that is exclusive amount. Next, you can click email. If you want to email to your supplier, And if you want, you can design this message box, email message body. You can design from email signatures. Right. Like that, you can enter your purchase order. You can email, or you can print, or you can save. Right, now you can enter purchase order. I think you have already created your suppliers and items. You can select one supplier and you can select a few items and you can enter purchase order. Okay. After you enter your purchase orders, you can view your purchase orders list. Go to suppliers, transactions, supplier purchase orders. From here, you can view your purchase order list. Now, in this purchase order list, you can view supplier name, document number, order number, tax reference, date, delivery date, total discount, total tax, total of that purchase order. Then, if you are printing, you can select that, or you can view print, and you can view the status. Right now, in this purchase order list, if you want, you can customize by clicking this customize grid button. You can tick required columns, and you can untick if you want to remove any column. After that, you can click save, then ticked columns will display here. And also, if you want to sort these purchase orders by clicking these headings, you can sort purchase orders. You can sort ascending or descending order. Then here you can see there's a column for status. From status, you can view the status of that purchase order. Now there are few status: pending, invoice, then overdue, confirmed, cancel. Okay. Uh, Invoice means you will enter purchase order, and after that your supplier will send goods to you. Then you will invoice that purchase order, or you will convert that purchase order to a supplier invoice. Then the status will change to invoice. Next, cancel. Now you will send purchase order to your supplier. Then sometimes supplier may not have that goods when you are sending purchase order. At that time, if supplier not sending goods, you can change that supplier purchase orders to cancel status. Then confirmed. Confirmed means you can use now you will send your purchase order to your supplier. Supplier will confirm they have that goods, and you can change this status to confirm. And pending is now you have sent your purchase order. Now for an example, this purchase order, second one, delivery date is 21st of August. So now still not, we haven't reached that delivery date. Therefore, this status will display as pending. Next, overdue. Now in our first purchase order, its delivery date is 5th January 2019. So far that supplier haven't delivered that goods, therefore it is overdue. Okay, pending is still we haven't reached that delivery date, and overdue is if you that delivery date exceeded, it will change to overdue. Okay, like that there are 5 status, and you can check what are the pending or your overdue purchase orders from this list. And also you can search that overdue, or you can filter overdue purchase orders, pending purchase orders from here. And if you want to search any purchase order by purchase order number or supplier name, you can search. Then from here you can sort by multi-column. You can sort by date or value, supplier name, like that. Sort your supplier purchase orders grid. Next, there are few buttons, but it's not activated. After you select any purchase order, this button will activate. And if you want to print By selecting more than one purchase order, you can directly print or delete purchase orders. And if you want to update status, from here you can select that confirm cancel invoice, and you can change the status of that purchase orders. Next, from actions, you can preview your purchase order or print, email, edit, delete, and update status and view history. Now we will check other features of that purchase orders. I'll change this purchase order value and save. I'll open it again. Next, we will discuss these options. First one, purchase order history. Now, system will display that purchase order history. It will display created date, created user, and if any changes done to that purchase order, it will display here. Now, second action, edited date, user, and it will display the details. Like from here, you can view if any user change any pricing in the purchase order, you can check from here. Next, show user-defined fields. If you want to add any details for user-defined fields, by clicking this option button, you can enter user-defined fields. Next, document attachment. If you want to attach any document for this purchase order, by clicking this add attachment, you can attach document to the purchase order. And this attachment should not exceed 2 MB, and maximum 5 attachments you can attach to purchase order. Next, document notes. If you want, you can add notes to this purchase order. After you enter notes, it will display in this dashboard. It will display under uh, this to-do list. Okay, like this, it will display overdue purchase order notes. Next, now if your supplier confirmed your purchase order, you can change this status, purchase order status, to confirmed, cancelled, or invoice. And if your supplier delivers goods to you, you can create an invoice for this purchase order, or you can convert this purchase order to an invoice. Next, copy purchase order. If you want to create a same purchase order, by clicking this copy purchase order, you can create another purchase order. If you want, you can change the supplier or items or pricing here. Right. Next, you can see that analysis codes available here. You can create analysis code from company analysis codes, and you can create department, jobs, or area like that. You can create the analysis code, and after you create analysis codes, those analysis code will display here. Now, for an example, if you want to identify what are the purchase orders you have sent to particular branch, department, or cost center, you can select that uh, branch or department or cost center or analysis code here. Then you can generate a report. What are the transactions you have entered for this department? Okay. After you enter these details, you can save this purchase order. And if you want to add any notes to this purchase order, you can enter here, and it will print in the purchase order document. And also you can set default messages from here also you can set, or company settings also you can set. Supplier document messages says purchase order. Uh, you can set messages as from here you can add messages, and you can enter sub description for that, and you can enter the message like this. You can set messages, and when you are entering purchase order, you can select from here. Okay, like that you can enter purchase order. Right. Now we have sent our purchase order to our supplier. Now supplier has sent goods to us. Okay, we have sent the purchase order, and supplier has sent the goods to us. Now, one important thing: these purchase orders, it's just a document. There's no any accounting transaction. Okay, supplier purchase order is a just a document. There's no any accounting transactions in the system. Right now, supplier has sent goods to us. We want to enter that supplier invoice to the system. To enter the supply invoice, there are three methods. We will discuss first method: go to suppliers, transactions, supplier invoice. After that, you can click add supplier invoice, select the supplier name, then you can enter that items, and you can enter what are the quantity you have purchased from the supplier, and amount of that item. Okay. After that, you can save this transaction, and you can select the date. If you received different date, you can select the date, and you can enter supplier invoice number. Okay, you need to enter supplier invoice number, and you can save. If you are exceeding credit limit, system will display a message. Right, like that we can enter supplier invoice. Go to suppliers, transactions, supplier invoices. Click add supplier invoice. Select the supplier and you can enter date, supplier invoice number, and what are the items you have purchased. Right, like that you can enter supplier invoice. And other method is, now you can go to supplier purchase orders. Next, from this list, by clicking these actions, and you can create invoice. Okay, you can convert this purchase order to an invoice by clicking create invoice. Click OK. Then you don't want to enter supplier date or items. System will pick these details from that purchase order. Then you can enter that supplier invoice number, and if you want to change the date, you can change, and you can save the purchase supplier invoice. The third method is, you can go to supplier invoice, add supplier invoice, select the supplier, and from selecting this from purchase order, you can select the purchase order. If you have already sent any purchase order, you can convert or you can select that purchase order, then system will fill these details. Okay, go to select suppliers. From purchase order, select the purchase order, then system will fill item details, item, quantity, price, system will fill. After that, you can save this purchase order. Now, when you are entering supplier invoice, there will be accounting transaction. Now, if you are enter supplier invoice, then your supplier balances will increase. Okay. Now, this purchase order value is supplier invoice value is 351,000. Then your supplier balances will increase. And if you are purchasing goods, this inventory value will increase. Okay, uh, I'll explain the journal accounting entry. It will debit inventory and credit trade payables. Okay, it will debit inventory, credit trade payables. Debit inventory means it will increase the inventory value, and credit trade payable, that is supplier balances will increase, that liability will increase. After that, you can save this uh, supplier invoice. Right, now you can enter supplier invoice. You can convert previous supplier purchase order, or you can enter new supplier invoice. And also we can go for a break. We will start by 450. Okay, you can enter two supplier invoices and you can take a break, and we will start by 450. Okay, hope you have entered the purchase orders. We will discuss additional features in this supplier invoice. Okay. And when you are entering supplier invoice, it's compulsory to enter supplier invoice number. Otherwise, you cannot save this supplier invoice. Okay, right. Next, this type. From here, you can select item, bundle, or item account or bundle. If you select item, you can select items you are selling. Next, account. If you are select account, you can select GL account. Now for an example, if you want to enter electricity income, then you can select that electricity expense account here, and you can enter the amount for that electricity income. And same way, if you want to enter your mobile bills or telephone bills or utility bills, you can select or you can change this uh, item to account from type, and you can select GL account, and you can enter that bill value. And if taxes available, you can select the tax type, then system will calculate the total. Then that trade payable will balance increase, and this relevant GL account or that expense account will debit and trade payables credit. Right. Next, if you are purchasing bundle items, you can select bundle, and you can select the bundle item from here, from selection. Then those items will display here. Now I think you can remember, you can go to items, list of item bundles. From here you can create bundle item, enter description, code and description, and you can add items here, quantity. uh, After you create bundle items, you can select from here. When you select that bundle item, other components of that bundle item will display here. Right. Next, now assume you are purchasing or you are importing goods from uh, different country, and you may have other expenses such as clearing charges, insurance, transportation charges. Those expenses will occur when you are purchasing goods from outside country. Then you want to enter that additional expenses to this item. Now for an example, if you are purchasing any computer or camera, you need to spend some clearing charges, transportation charges, insurance. Those expenses you need to incur because of that item. So you want to add that additional charges to this item. Okay, then you can click this add additional cost, and you can select supplier, and you can enter what's the description, supply invoice number, and you can enter the amount here. Then you can see additional cost will charge for these items. Then when you are taking that cost of sales, we'll change this to 1. uh, Initial item cost is 7,500, but there may be additional cost 10,000. So that item Cost of sales is 17,500. Initial cost is 7,500, and you have added that additional cost to this item. Therefore, that item cost will increase to 17,500. Especially when you are purchasing outside, or if you are purchasing locally also, you may need to incur some expenses for transportations, insurance, uh, some goods you are purchasing. Then you can add that additional cost to that item. Okay, so then this item cost of sales is or item cost is increased to 17,500. You can check from here, cost allocated 10,000, and total increase to this 6,007. Right, like that. If you have any additional cost, you can add to your items. From here also, if you want, you can select analysis codes. Then this will cost go to particular analysis code. And also when you are selecting items, you can view the item code, description, reserved quantity, and quantity on hand. Here also, if you want, under message, you can add any message to here. Right, now you can enter another supplier invoice, including additional cost. You can add different additional cost here. Now if you want to add transport, insurance, then clearing charges, those details you can add by clicking this plus mark. Then if you correctly allocated, now for an example 7,500, then there will be a balance. Cost allocated is only 7,500, total is 10,000, so you can check the balance. Right. After that, you can save this supplier invoice. Right, now you can add a supplier invoice including additional costs. And also when you are if you are entering more than one item, and if you add any additional cost, it will allocate based on your that item values. Now here that price is 7,500 and tax including 8,100, and second item total is 16,200. We have allocated 10,000, therefore it will allocate additional cost 3,000 and 6,000. Okay, based on these values, additional cost will allocate to these items. Right. Next, we'll move to these options. You can view invoice history. Then you can, by clicking show user defined fields, you can view user defined fields. Same way in supplier purchase orders. You can attach documents. Then you can attach notes. Then now if you are purchasing credit from the supplier, you can add anticipated date, anticipated payment date by clicking this anticipated payment button. Okay, click add, select anticipated payment date, and you can enter any note. Next, create supplier return. If you are returning these goods back to supplier, you can create a supplier return. And if you want to re-invoice, you can return and re-invoice. And if you want to enter payment for this purchase supply invoice by clicking this create payment, you can enter the supplier payment. Then if you want to copy this invoice, you can click copy invoice. Okay, in practical situations, sometimes you may enter purchase orders for any goods you are going to purchase, and after that you will enter supply invoice. Or else if you want, you can enter supply invoice without entering purchase order. Okay, if you want, you can enter purchase order and order goods from your supplier. After that you can enter supply invoice, or without if you are purchasing without sending purchase order, you can directly enter the supplier invoice. Then after you enter supplier invoices, your inventory or expenses will debit and trade payables will credit. Right. After you enter supplier invoices, you can view supplier invoice grid from here. You can view supplier name, document number, supplier invoice number, date, due date, anticipated payment date, totals, amount due, printed, status. And if you haven't paid yet, it will display as unpaid. And if your supplier giving credit period, and if you are not reached the credit period yet, status is unpaid. And if you are exceeding the credit period, it will display as overdue. And if you are paid, it will display as paid. Like that, there may be few status: overdue, paid, and unpaid. Right. Next, you can sort this grid by clicking this heading. You can sort ascending or descending order. And if you have attached any documents, you can view from here. And if you have any anticipated payment date, this color will change to orange. Right. And also, if you want to search any supply invoice, you can type the name here, and or you can enter supply invoice number or any number here. You can view that supplier invoices. And you can sort or you can filter overdue invoices, paid invoices, or dated today, dated this month. Those filters are available here. And if you want to sort by multi-column, you can click this A to Z button and you can add columns and you can sort. Right, like that, you can enter supplier invoice. Furthermore, if you have any foreign suppliers, you can create foreign suppliers or foreign currency suppliers. When you are adding supplier, you can select that supplier currency here. And if you are purchasing from foreign currency supplier or multi-currency supplier, then the exchange rate will be displayed here. Now this is Australian dollars. This is AED. System will display the exchange rate, and when you are enter items, it will display in supplier's currency. Okay, you can view supplier's currency and home currency. Total also you can view supplier's currency and home currency. If you want to change the exchange rate, you can change from here, or you can change from the settings. I think you can remember, you can set multi-currency from company settings, or to company, change company settings, multi-currency. First you need to add home currency. After that you can add currencies by clicking add currency, and you can view the exchange rates for those currencies. Right. Next, we will move to supplier returns. Now, you have sent a purchase order to customer, supplier, and supplier has sent goods. But unfortunately, there may be some expired goods or damaged items available. So, you are going to return those items back to your supplier. In that case, you can enter supplier return. You can enter supplier returns from suppliers, transactions, select supplier returns, and click add supplier return. From here, you can select the supplier, and you can select items you are going to return. Okay, you can enter quantity, returning quantity, and amount, and you can enter the supplier return. You can select item, quantity, enter amount, and here you can mention that analysis code, and if any message you want to include to the supplier return, you can enter here. After that, you can save this supplier return. Right. Like that, you can enter supplier return, and you can enter a supplier return for purchase items now. Right. You can enter supply return from here, and also now assume you have entered supply invoice for that supplier, and from these items you want to return. In that case, you can uh, go to supply invoices, and from these actions by clicking these actions, uh, and you can select create supplier return. Then when you select that supplier return, you don't want to enter any details. System will pick data from that supplier invoice, and you can directly enter that supplier return. And now assume if you have purchased 10 units here and you are going to return only 2, then you can enter 2 here, or else there are 1 and 1 quantities, and if you are returning only first item, you can delete the second item. Okay, now here you are returning only first item, second item you can delete. Then there's another way. You can go to supplier transaction, supplier returns, click add supplier return, and from here you can select the supplier, and from invoice you can select the invoice. Then you can return this item. Like that, you can enter supplier returns. You can enter supplier returns from suppliers transaction, supplier returns. Click add return, select the supplier. You can enter returning items, or from invoice you can take items, or from supplier invoice, go to supplier invoices and click these actions and create supplier returns. Right, like that, you can enter supplier returns. After you enter supplier returns, you can view supplier returns from here by clicking this customize grid. You can tick required columns, and if you want to remove any column, you can untick that column, and you can click save, sort ascending or descending order. You can search, you can filter, so you can filter, and you can sort multi-column. Okay, right. Next, we will move to supplier payments. Now we have purchased, we have sent purchase order. Supplier has sent goods to us, and we are going to pay to supplier. Go to suppliers transactions, supplier payment, click add supplier payment. From here you can select the supplier. After you select the supplier, system will display what are the outstanding invoices for that supplier. Okay, here you can view the supplier outstanding balance, and you can view the supplier outstanding invoices. You can enter the payment amount here, and you can enter the reference number. Now you can select payment methods: cash, check, credit card, EFT, and you can enter the payment date. From here you can select the bank account, and if you are paying from check, you can enter check number as reference number, or if you are paying from credit card or EFT, electronic fund transfer, that reference numbers you can enter here. And payment amount you can enter here, or by selecting these unpaid invoices, then total will calculate here. You can see this total. Like that, you can take these outstanding invoices and system will calculate the total. Or else if you are paying a different amount, you can enter that amount. Then you can allocate to that invoices. Now system automatically allocated. I think you can remember when you are creating suppliers, there's an option called auto allocate payments to all list invoices. If you tick this option, system will allocate that your payment to oldest invoice. If you want to allocate manually, you can allocate manually. After you fully allocated, this unallocated amount should be 0. And also if you want to add any description, you can enter here, and comment also you can enter here. And by clicking this analysis code, you can select analysis codes. Right. After that, you can print this supplier payment voucher. There are two options. Either you can email, or you can print, or you can save. And when you are printing also, there's a process and print detail, process and print summary. If you select detail, system will display these invoices you are paying, and if you select summary, system will not pay, system will not print that details. Okay, first we will print detail. Here you can view what are the invoices, invoice date, supply invoice number, document number, supply invoice date, amount. And if you print summary, system will display only the total amount. If you select details, system will display supply invoice wise, supply invoice date, document number, supply invoice number, and total. After you enter payments, you can view the supplier payment grid. Here also you can customize, sort, and you can search, and you can filter. Right, now you can enter supplier payment. Okay, now when you are entering supplier payments, you can see that bank account and payment method display. I think you can remember when you are creating bank accounts, you can set that default bank account and default payment method. Now here, uh, this bank account, this Sampath Rupee account is the default account, and default payment method is check. Therefore, when you are here, you can see that this is the default bank account and default payment method is check. Therefore, uh, here it will display that default bank account and default payment method. If you want to change, you can change when you are processing the transaction. Right. Now, in practical situation, sometimes before deliver goods, some suppliers may request advance payment or full amount. Okay. Now, normally we are doing supplier will deliver goods. After that, we will pay to the supplier. Sometimes supplier may request advance payment prior to deliver goods. In that case, you can enter amount and you can process the supplier payment. And later we will receive the supplier invoice and we will enter the supplier invoice. Now, in that case, we haven't allocated our supplier payment to supplier invoice. If you haven't allocated any supplier payments, when you are generating your supplier outstanding report, you'll generate a report. Then it will display that payment as minus and invoices as plus. Then when you are generating this report, it will display very lengthy report. Now we have done few advance payment, this payment, but we haven't allocated to invoices. Okay. Then when you are generating that report, uh, you can see very lengthy or all transaction display here. Therefore, we will use these allocate payments to allocate those transactions. Now, example, we are enter advance payment. At that time, we haven't entered the supplier invoice. Therefore, when we are entering the payment, we cannot allocate the supplier invoice. Therefore, those transactions will display here separately. Right, invoices here and payment here. Now you can allocate that payment to your supplier invoices. You can allocate that payments by uh, drag and drop to that invoices. And then these columns will, you can see this 100 will remove from here, and here that due amount will reduce. Or else, okay, I'll enter another transaction. right? You can see uh, 18,225 invoice available here. This side also payment available. Now we haven't allocated that payment because that time invoice not available. Now when you are generating that outstanding report, it will display 18,000 plus 18,225 and minus 18,225. Actually, we have allocated or we have paid for this invoice, but we haven't allocated. Therefore, this payment and supplier invoice display in the outstanding report. Now we need to allocate that payment to outstanding invoice. To allocate the payment, you can drag and drop uh, this payment to invoice. When you are dragging, it's red color. After you drop into this invoice, it will change to green, right? After that, you can save. Now you will check this report, outstanding report again. We'll take a copy. Right, now you can see that 18,225 not available. This page not refresh. This one refresh. Therefore, that outstanding will not display here. Okay, so if you want to generate accurate supply outstanding report, you need to allocate unallocated payments. Right, we will check it again. Select the supply and refresh. Now that 18,225 not available, and you can drag and drop your payment, and by mistakenly if you have allocated to any other or incorrect invoice, you can drag and drop again to right side. Okay, you can drag and drop to left for invoices, and if you incorrectly allocated, you can again drop to right side. Like that you can allocate your payments to invoices. Okay, and there are three options. uh, First, actually checkbox there, show outstanding only. If you tick this outstanding only, system will display only outstanding invoices. Now I'll refresh again. Here all invoices has a due amount. If you untick this option, you can see this due amount is 0. Therefore, this is not outstanding. These are only outstanding. If you tick this show outstanding only, system will display only outstanding invoices. Then there are three display options. First one, all invoices. Second one, invoices between. If you tick these invoices between, you can set a date, from date and to date. Then system will display only that range invoices only. Take 1st of July. Then system will display only that range. Then specific invoice number. If you want to search or settle any specific number, you can type that invoice number and refresh. Then system will display only that invoice number. Right, next split unallocated item amount. Okay, now assume uh, here payment 50,000 and you want to allocate 10,000 for first invoice, 20,000 for second invoice, and third invoice also 20,000. Okay, first one 10,000, second one 20, third one 20. In that case, you can tick this option and you can drag and drop to first invoice. Then system will ask, please enter the enter value. Then first invoice we are going to enter only 10,000. We can enter 10,000. Now initially it's 81,000. Now it's 71,000. This payment voucher also unused value changed to 40,000. Now we are going to settle 20,000 for second invoice. Initially its due amount is 500,000. Now we can enter 20,000. Then system has changed uh, the due amount to 480, and we can allocate balance 20 also to here. Now that payment voucher is fully settled, and these three invoices settled by 10,000, 20,000, and 20,000. Okay, like that. If you want to allocate or if you want to split one payment to different supply invoices, you can tick this option and you can split and settle. Okay, after you enter these details, you can save. Okay. Right now you can check this option, supplier allocations, allocate payments, go to suppliers transactions, and select allocate payments. After that, select supplier name and refresh. If you don't, if your supplier doesn't have any unallocated payments, untick this option, show outstanding only. Then you can unallocated those allocate invoices. Okay, you can allocate your unallocated payments to invoices from allocate payments. Okay, now we have completed 5 sessions. Next sessions we will complete that transactions and reporting sections. Okay, thank you very much. Stay safe.